Today, we bring you a special holiday edition of Africa 54 filled with stories of the season.
We journey back in time to the days of Afro hairstyles and old school music as young and old in Calabar celebrate the holidays.
Frankincense, as the fragrant smoke wafts through churches and mosques, the last wild frankincense forests on earth fall under threat. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and thanks for tuning into the show that's broadcast across the continent. To bring you stories near and far, I'm Joke Rogers at Channels Television here in Lagos, and I'm joined by my colleague Vincent McCurry at the Voice of America in Washington.
Well, thanks, Joke. I'm Vincent McCurry at our global headquarters in Washington, D.C. Happy to be with you again for this special holiday edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with a look at an old-school Christmas celebration. Joke Rogers in Lagos brings you that story.
That's right. Christmas trees, dazzling lights and celebrations make the Yuletide a colorful season in Calabar, the Cross River State capital. Now the celebration is taken to a whole new level in a journey back in time to the days of afros and old school music in a school party. The themed event was fun for both children and adults, with the underlying message of love at Christmas. Channels Television's correspondent Emmanuel Day captured the excitement in this report. Take a look.
Children wearing afros as part of their costumes arrive at the old-school Christmas party. Unlike any other Christmas celebration, the idea of this one is to bring back the good old days. But first, the reason for the season. They reenact the birth of Jesus Christ and the visit of the three wise men bearing gifts, and then Christmas carols, telling of the significance of the Nativity.
The very essence of Christmas is love. Love for your neighbor, love for, whoever you're in contact with, whoever you interact with, show love. Now that is the essence of Christmas.
Some more Christmas carol renditions, several performances by children of different ages, and the fun begins with the old school theme. Enter the adults for some real time travel. The organizers believe the idea has served the purpose for which it was intended.
Basically, it's just getting the children in tune with, the generations that had gone, and of course to marry it with where we are now. When they heard old school Christmas, right, they resisted. Oh no, why old school? We want to dance to what we know and all of that. But when we started the rehearsals and all, they started getting in tune, getting used to everything. And in fact, they rocked it better than we did. So yes, they have accepted, and I'm sure they're all having fun.
I think that beyond equipping them academically, schools should endeavor to have this kind of fanfare at the end of every year. It's amazing, believe me. I wish I was born at this time.
The celebration continues with everyone on the dance floor moving to the tunes of yesteryears. No doubt everyone here will leave with memories to cherish.
Festive seasons come with a lot of eating and drinking, but that depends on availability. Sufficient food includes growing enough for the population. But with the trend of young people increasingly turning away from agriculture, that's an issue to address. Now, joining us to discuss youth involvement in agriculture, or the lack of it, is Rotimi Olawale, an agripreneur. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about it. When you talk about youth's participation in agriculture, how can we get them to really do this? How can we really do it?
I think I'd like to appreciate you one more time for bringing me on the show to discuss this very salient topic. I think for over the years now we've been clamoring for youth involvement in agriculture, and I must say that we've gone a long way in Nigeria currently. We have a lot of young people, at least someone like myself, and I have hundreds of young people in my network who are getting involved in agribusiness. We still have a long way to go, but through advocacies like this, and then more so mentoring of young people and success stories of young people like me and other young people who are into agriculture, we can motivate more young people to get involved.
Well, when people talk about agriculture, the first thing that comes to mind is getting down and dirty. But, are there other areas that, one can play in the agriculture value chain?
I think the word dirty is relative because many of us young people we're talking about, when they talk about dirty, get sweating. Many of them go feed farm early in the morning, they work out and then they sweat for nothing. They don't get paid for it. So why not get into the farm and sweat and get paid for it? So for me, I don't think agriculture is a dirty job. But to answer your question, there are other areas of agribusiness you can get involved that doesn't involve, tilling the land and all that. You can go into the value chain. You can be a middleman. You get the product from the farm, you bring it to the market. You can involve yourself in the processing. For example, maybe Gary processing. You can get the cassava, have a factory, then process into. With that, you may not have to go to farm and till the land. And all. So there are other areas you can get involved in the value chain.
A lot of people, young people, we're still talking about, think that they're better off, with white collar jobs, but you have a different perspective to it. Tell us about this. The gains for young people in agriculture as against, sitting down in an office 9 to 5.
Well, for people doing 9 to 5, you work, you can only eat and survive. But when you do business, you are rich and you're able to do things. So for me, I encourage young people to. I'm not saying if your calling or if your passion is 9 to 5 is okay, but I think there's more to life when you're able to do business. When you go out of take the risk, go out of the box, and then go start something for yourself, and also be an employer of labor.
You interact with a lot of people. You told me about your network of farmers, which are a lot of them are young people like yourself. But how easy is it for them to get into farming, or what of those that have tried it? What have been their challenges?
The challenges attached to farming is similar to challenges of starting a new business. Capital, intellectual capital, also the monetary capital, the intellectual capital. But the key thing we do is, or myself, I do as a person, is I encourage young people to get mentors. Whatever you're going into, whether it's farming, whether it's journalism, whether it's the medical line, whether it's lawyer, it's the legal field, you need mentors, people who will put you through. For myself also, I have mentors in this agribusiness that I look up to, like, okay, I'm stranded here, what do I do? I'm stranded in this area, what do I do? So for me, I always encourage young people, times without number, when I have the opportunity to speak to young agripreneurs, I tell them, get a mentor. Whatever you're starting up, whatever the challenges are, when you have a mentor in that field, he's able to tell you, this is what you do to get out of this, because he's been there before and he knew how he got out of a problem. So he's able to share with you, this is how you get out of a problem, and it becomes easy for you. The challenges are normal. They're expected in all areas of life.
Okay, we have to go, but one final one. Is it, can you do the two? Do 9 to 5 and do agriculture on the side?
No, I can't do 9 to 5. I've never done it before.
No, as in normal, as in other people, young people. If you had a job now, can you go?
I think agriculture is very demanding.
Okay.
So if you're doing both, I think one is going to suffer. Either the 9 to 5 suffers or the agribusiness suffer. Except you are only going to invest into agriculture. then maybe someone runs it for you, and then you make your money back.
All right, thank you so much, Rotimi Olawale. Thank you for your time on Africa 54.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. Check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Still to come, we take you to an all-Madu mountains of Somaliland's Sanag region, where the world's last wild frankincense forest is in danger due to increased demand for the ancient trade.